Hello,
Hello there.
how are you?
I'm good. I shoveled all the way from Washington.
I can imagine.
Got
Was
stuck there. Got stuck there overnight.
was how, when did you come today?
Last night.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah.
It
That was
even
quite a
grew the
what?
snow grew your beard longer.
It's because I didn't bring my shaver.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Where are we at? 14, 15.
15.
15 we should be. Yeah.
Mhm. My daughter came also from New York yesterday. She was supposed to come on Sunday, but all the flights were canceled, so she came
Yeah, so
yesterday.
everything backed up, right? Yeah. Where's everybody?
Hmm?
So where's everybody?
I don't know. And this is a kind of a long glass. And for me, it's a very complicated Gemara.
I think for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mr. Walter.
Hi.
Hello. Mm.
Where's everybody, Mario? Oh, yeah.
Everybody, we are all here except Ernie.
Okay.
Mhm.
Get my Gemara.
Number 15.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hello.
All right.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
We're on Daf Tesvav 15. We were talking about a case where you have the steak on Shavuos, you have to shech the shnei chvasim, which then allow you to eat the shtei alechem. And we said if one of the shtei alechem had become tamei, there's a machlokas between Rabbi Yehuda and the Chachamim prior to zrika of the blood. That the Chachamim say you can the the remaining loaf you can eat, but the Rabbi Yehuda says, no, a korban sibur, you can't be mechalek. If one is tamei, they're both, the zrika doesn't really help. Why? And the machlokas we said, the way Rav Papa explains, is the tzitz that the Kohen Gadol wears, whether it's meratzeh for things that are eaten. Rabbanan Sarviyat tzitz meratzeh lachilas. The one that is tummy certainly has to be burnt. But the tzitz says that the zrika works. And you can eat the remainder. Rabbi Yehuda Sofer ain't tzitz meratzeh lachilos. The tzitz does not allow the zrika to work even on the other loaf, because one of the loaves is tummy. The tzitz doesn't sort of clean it up. We have things that are put up on the mizbech that, if you would have known, you wouldn't have put them up on the mizbech, but you put it up. And we say hatzitz meratzin ala oilin, because the tzitz provides ritzui for those things that made it up on the mizbech, and yet upligi. Yet there's also a machlokas between. So what the Gemara is going to try to show is this machlokas has nothing to do with the tzitz. The Tanya. Nidma echad min ha-bezichin, you have the 2 spoons full of lavona. You have to do zrik of both of them in order to let you eat the lechem haponim. If one of the bazichin became tamei, shneim yasu betumah. Now, lechem haponim is a korban sibur, and therefore you can't divide up the korban sibur, and therefore both can be offered in a state of tumah, because by tumah is hutru b'tzibur. Even the other cup of lavona, if it touched the cup that was tameh and it becomes tameh, you can throw it. No. The tameh one remains tameh, but you can't actively matame the Torah one. So you see, it's nothing to do with the tzitz. L'odam Rav Ashi Toshma, Rabbi Yehuda Oimer, afilu shevet echad tameh v'chol hashvatim tahorim. Regarding the Korban Pesach, one shevet is tameh and 11 are tohor. Yasu betuma, they all can become tameh together. L'fi she'ein tzibur cholok. Korban sibur can be offered betuma. V'hocha maya tzitz meratzeh. He has nothing to do with the tzitz. The tzitz doesn't purify people that are tamei. It purifies korbanos that are tamei. So what we said in our Mishnah is not relevant to the tzitz. V'odam Ravina Toshma nitmeis achat min achalois. If one of the shtei alechem for Shavuos becomes tamei, or achat min astrom, one of the 6 lechem haponim, Rabbi Yehuda Oimer, shneim yotzel beis hasrifa. Even if only one becomes tamei, you got to burn both. For shein korban sibur cholok, you can't divide it. No, you burn the tamei one. A tamei b'tumas v'atar yeachel. The imisa, if the way Rav Papa wants to learn is correct, why didn't you say l'fishein tzitz meratzeh lachilos b'boilei? So it doesn't do with the tzitz. Elam Rav Yechon limud arachu b'fiv shel Rav Yehuda ein korban sibur choluk. It's because you don't divide the korban sibur. It has nothing to do with the tzitz. Mishnah. Hatoida mefageles alechem ve'alechem einu mefageles hatoida. When you bring a korban toda, you bring 40 loaves of bread. So ketzad shachad es hatoida. You shechted the korban lechol mimenu lemachar, to eat from it tomorrow. He v'alechem ufugalim. The korban and the lechem becomes pigul. Therefore, you eat kazayas of either he'll get kores. But when you shech the animal, if you have in mind lechem and alechem lamachar, you're not going to eat from the animal, you're going to eat from the lechem. Then alechem mefugal v'hatoida ena mefugelas. The lechem becomes pigul, but not the toida. It becomes posel, but it's not pigul. And similarly, with the shtei kvasim, hakvasim mefaglim es alechem, v'alechem ena mefagel es hakvasim. Ketzad. Hashoichet es hakvasim lechol men l'machar. You shecht one of the lambs, and you had in mind to eat from it tomorrow. Both the meat of the lambs, heim v'alechem ufugolim, and the breads become pigul. If you eat a kazayis of either, you get kores. If though when you shecht the lamb, you have in mind lechol es alechem l'machar, you're going to eat of the breads tomorrow. Halechem mefugal, the lechem becomes pigul, but vakvasim ain't mefugal. My timer. Ilem imshun Rav Kana dam Rav Kana minayin lelach me toida shnikru toida. You know why? When you have in mind a pigul machshava regarding the toda, the lechem becomes pigul too, because the lechem of a toda is also called toda. Shenemar v'ikriv al zevach hatoda chalos. Well, then it says iachi ibchanami. But then, if you have machshava regarding the lechem, it should make the meat pigul. We said in our Mishnah it's not. So the Gemara says, haloi kasha, lechem ikri toida, but toida lo ikri lechem. The breads are referred to as toda, but not the toda. Elhadik tani, what about by the shvuas? Hakvasim afagim misalechem. If you have in mind machshava regarding the meat, the lechem becomes pigul. But valechem, if you have in mind, the lechem ain't mafagel sakvasim. Why not? Lechem echash chandikri kvasim. Based on your svara, why should the lechem ever become pigul even when you had a machshava regarding the kvasim? The lechem is never called kvasim. Elainu taima lechem glal toida. The korban is primary. The lechem is secondary. The ein toida glal lechem. The toida is not secondary to the lechem. So therefore, if you have a machshavas pigul regarding the animal, the lechem becomes pigul. But if you have a machshavas pigul regarding the bread, the animal does not become pigul. And similarly by the shtei kvasim, lechel glal kvasim, the kvasim are primary, the shtei lechem are secondary. The ein kvasim glal the lechem. Why did I need to teach this halacha, both by the lachmei toda and by the shtei lechem? Tzrichi. Diashmin and toida. If I would have only been taught about the toda, when you have in mind to eat the bread, it doesn't make the animal pigul mishum. By the shtei lechem, you literally take the lambs and the bread and you wave them together. That combines them to make them one. But that does not happen by lechem of lachmei toda. But I might have thought of a kvasim dehuska kuzel zebet nufa, ema kimafagel belechem lifagel nabe bekvasim. There I might have a havamina to say that if I have in mind to eat of the lechem, the meat also becomes pigul. So that we say tzricha no. By both cases, it doesn't work. Boy named Rabbi Loza Mirav. Hashoichet es atoida lechol kazayis bimena umilach balamocha. You shech the animal, you have in mind half a kazayis of the basar and half a kazayis of the lechem tamaru, mal. Lafguli toida lo maboile. To make the animal pigul, there's no shaila, that it doesn't work. Hashta kula milach malom fagla. Even if you have in mind a whole kazayis of a lechem, we said the animal doesn't become pigul. Mimena umilach b'boy. So if you only have a half a kazayis from the lechem, it certainly wouldn't. Ki kumaboili lifagli lecha. We learned that if you have machshava of a kazayas of the lechem, it makes the lechem pigul. Here we're asking if you have a machshava regarding half a kazayas of the lechem combined with a half a kazayas of the basar. My. Mi mitzdarf total fugi lechem alone. Do we say it's starfus or not? Amr lei, af bezu, halechem mefugal ba'toida en mefugelas. Rabbi Lazar answered that no, it's not mitzdaref, and only and the lechem does not become pigul. Freit gemor v'amai lemekal v'chomer umaha mefagel. That means the toda itself. A mispagel, the animal does not become pigul when you combine half a kazayas of the meat and half a kazayas of the lechem. So habala fagel v'lo pigel. You want to bring the bread and it didn't work. And it didn't shlo yispagel. Certainly, it should not work when you combine it. Can we use such a kavachomer v'atanya? Ma'isa be'echad shezor karma shel chaveru smoda. We have the din of kloyim. You're not allowed to plant seeds of wheat with grapes. Now, I can't plant in my own garden, but here a neighbor came in and sowed some of his seeds in his neighbor's vineyard. The gefanim are owned by the neighbor. I can't aser something that doesn't belong to me. The zroim are aser because we penalize the guy who owned the zroim. However, why should we say that? Lema kavachomer. Uma oisrein in Nesar, the grapes, which are the key thing that causes the climb, but it doesn't become aser. Habala eser v'lo asar, and it shleis aser. The seeds that come in and are not prohibiting certainly should not become aser. So the Gemara says hachi hashta hasum kanbus v'luf asra Torah. The Torah forbid mixtures of beans with like onions. But shar zroim midrabanan hudasiri. That's also midrabanan. But other seeds are only also rabbinically. So hi David Yisra comes rabbanan. So the guy who went in and tried to aser, the rabbanan really make idea he's not aser. He can't aser. His seeds should not be aser, but we make a knas. But hi Deloy David Yisra loy comes rabbanan. The guy, the neighbor, the innocent neighbor, there's no knas on him. But here, by the higul and the lachmei toida, the kavachomer could work. Now the Gemara has another version of this. Regarding the lambs that are offered on Shavuos. Boy named Rabbi Lazar Mirav. You shechted the lambs. You had in mind half a kazayis of the meat and half a kazayis for the shtei lechem. Mao. There's no shaila that it doesn't work to make the sheep pigul, because hashta kul milechem. We said, even if you had in mind to eat a full kazayis of the lechem, it doesn't make the animal pigul. Mehenu milachman miboy. So if you only had a half a kazayis, there's no shaila that it wouldn't work. Ki komiboyli the faguli lechem. Our shaila, does it make the lechem pigul? Can you combine half a kazayis of the basar and half a kazayis of the lechem to make the lechem pigul? The lechem, only the lechem becomes pigul, but not the kvasim. V'amai lemekal v'chomer uma mefagel enu mispagel. The lambs cannot become pigul with machshava regarding the bread. So habal fagel v'lo pigel. So then, when you say it doesn't work, ein adin shlo yispagel, it shouldn't become usher itself. And umi amrina kal v'chomer ki ha'gabna, do we say such a kal v'chomer v'atanya? Ma'isa be'echad shezor karma shel chaveris mother, he planted seeds. And we say, only the seeds are usher. V'amai le'ma kal v'chomer. Ma oisrein and esra, abal esra v'lo osrein and din shleis asr, like we said before. So he said, Achiyashta, hasam kambus v'luf asra Torah. It's only specific flax and these onions are forbidden. Midaraisa, sharzra midrabanan l'asiri. And haida of it is surah. The guy who made the Yisr, we make a knas on him. And we say he cannot use the seeds. The law of it is surah, the one who's innocent, there's no knas. Aval hecha, maybe by the shtei lechem, lema kavachoymer. Man de masti lo atoida. The previous version, it would work kol sheken akvasim, because it's more logical to combine the kvasim with the shtei lechem because we wave them. Man de masti lo kvasim. The one who asked the kasha only from the kvasim, it's because kvasim uduhuska kuzel zelit. We combine the sheep with the lambs and wave them, so sort of they become connected. Aval toida de lo huska kuzel zelit betnufa lo. Maybe there'd be no way that half a kazais of one, half kazais of the other would make the lechem pickle. Ravaba zuti boy lahachi. Rababa asked the following question: Boy ner lezer mirab. Hashoichet esakeves lechol kazais mechaver lamachar. I shech the lamb, and I have in mind to eat a kazais of the other lamb tomorrow. Mao. Do we mean chaveru keves mashma v'lo mefagel? I can't. It's not pickle if it's not part of this animal, and therefore, if I'm referring to the lamb, it's certainly not pickle. Oy dilma lecha mashma mefagel. Maybe chaveru here, he's referring to the accompanying bread, and maybe that would make the bread, at least the bread pickle. Or relate to nisua. We learned it in the Mishnah. A person shechted one of the lambs to eat of it tomorrow. Who pigul? So that lamb becomes pigul, the chaver kosher, but the other lamb remains kosher. If he has in mind to eat from chavero, we say shneim ksherim, because obviously he wasn't referring to the lechem. He was referring to the other lamb. Alma chaver keves mashma. The Gemara says dilma deforsh from a chaver keves. Maybe it's only where he says chaver keves, but chaver we still don't know. Maybe he's referring to the lechem. Mishnah. We have korbanos that are offered with wine libations, which is a mincha of flour and wine, and you burn it completely. So therefore, it's connected in a way to the animal korban. So if you have a machshavas pigul regarding the animal, and the flour has been miskadesh in a kli already, so the nesachim become pigul as well, div Rab Meir. But if you have in mind about pouring the nesachim tomorrow, that machshava einu mefagnos hazevach is the same concept that we've been learning regarding the mincha as it relates to the toda. The lechem is secondary to the animal. Here also, the minchas nesachim is second. It's even less. It's even more secondary than in the case of lachmei toda. Keitzad hashoichet es hazevach lechol mimenu lemocher. If you shecht the animal and you have in mind to eat of the animal tomorrow, hu unechasav mefugalim. The meat of the animal and the minchas nesachim becomes pigul. If you eat a kazayis of either of those, you'll get kares. But when he shechted the animal, he had in mind lahakriv nechasav lemachar. He was going to offer the nesachim tomorrow. Then, similar to what we said about the lechem, hanesachim mefugalim. The mincha becomes pigul, but the zevach einu mefagel. Ton Rabban. Niskei be'ema, when you brought the nesachim of an animal korban. Chayavan aleh mishum pigul. If you had a machshavas pigul for the animal, then they are, if you eat a kazayas of the niskei be'ema, you would also get kares. Neshadam hazevach matir li kares. Throwing the blood of the animal allows you to offer the mincha on the mizbech. Div Rav Meir. Armalol Rav Meir. The Chachamim are going to disagree. The real korban has to be consumed within 24 hours. If it's true that the mincha is part of the animal, you have to consume it within 24 hours. But you have a right to consume the nesachim. It can be offered up until 10 days from now. So you see, the nesachim are not part of the korban, and therefore it doesn't become pigul. So Rav Meir responds, Amar lahen, Afani lo amarti elek b'boyin mazeva. I'm talking about the case where the nesachim are brought along on the same day with the korban. Then you could consider the minchas nesachim to become pigul if I have a machshavas pigul. Amar lo efshel l'shanoso l'zevach acher. You can also move these nesachim to a different korban. How can you say it's part of the original korban? No. Once you shech the animal, it's connected permanently to this korban. It can't be transferred somewhere else. Similar to the lach metoda, which can't be moved to somewhere else. Torah. Loik shemen shel metzoira. When the metzoira undergoes tahara, he has to bring an oil, a chatas, and an asham, as well as a loik shaman. After they do zrikas hadam of the asham, the kohen puts some of the blood on the metzora's right ear, right thumb, and right big toe, and then you put some of the oil into the palm of another kohen, who sprinkles that oil towards the kodesh kadoshim 7 times, and you put it on the part of the kohen on his right ear, big toe, and big thumb, where the blood was placed. So, loik shemen shel metzoira, chayavna lo mipnei shadam osh, chayavna lo mishum pikul. If you consume the oil, you get kares. Mipnei shadam osh matir lebehoines. When you sprinkle the blood of the osham, that allows you to put it on the big toe of the kohen. Div Rav Meir. Amar Rav Meir v'alo adam mei the osham hayom v'loga mikam v'asar yomim. The log doesn't have to be offered on the same. It can be offered 10 days later. My halacha is when it comes with the asham. The log shemen can be moved to a different asham. No. Once you shecht the asham, that oil comes connected to that korban forever. You can't move it to another korban. Okay. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock.